Hello and welcome to another edition of Kaleidoscope right here on Channels Television. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. I am Anne Nwawadu. On Kaleidoscope today, we chat with the CEO of Sterling One Foundation, Olakweju Ibekwe, as she tells us the impact the organization has made since inception. Once again, welcome to Kaleidoscope. Over the years, Sterling One Foundation has been a vehicle for social impact across critical sectors of the economy, driving positive change to the challenges facing Africa as a continent.
Established in 2018, Sterling One Foundation is a registered non-profit focused on tackling the root causes of poverty in Nigeria and Africa through interventions and social impact programs across three critical sectors: health, education and climate action and food security, gender equality and women empowerment, all integrated as a cross-cutting priority across all programming areas. The Foundation's programs adopt a central theme of prioritizing partnerships for the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. As Sterling One Foundation continues to operate, it hopes to add value not just to Nigeria, but to the African continent, helping change the narrative and building a better future for the continent.
We now hear from the CEO of Sterling One Foundation, Olakweju Ibekwe. Let's begin with what inspired the creation of the Sterling One Foundation. How did it all begin?
Thank you very much, Anne. As a person, I've always prioritized impact. There are a few things I had done in the impact space before getting into this role. I must also commend the leadership of Sterling Bank, specifically Mr. Bakar Suleiman, who is also someone who prioritizes impact. And we were exploring an opportunity to catalyze more people to be a part of transforming society positively. And the platform started in 2020, 2021 officially. And so far it has been phenomenal. We have seen so many lives transformed, so many partnerships birthed, because one thing that is our ethos at Sterling One Foundation is partnerships. We believe in the 17th goal of the SDGs, which is partnerships for the goals. We are clear in our minds that no one organization can transform society positively and sustainably, no matter how rich that organization is, because there's a lot that goes into development, especially the technical depth, the capacity to measure outcomes, and the requirement of community to own transformational projects. Those are the things that can ensure that that project's impact is sustainable even beyond the first intervention. And that is why we prioritize partnerships with the community, partnerships with the funding partners, partnerships with the government that provide the policies and the guidance and the leadership for these initiatives to be implemented. And of course, those that bring the expert technical skills to deliver on the project. And we are glad, we are proud of the work that has been done so far.
So when you look at all the projects and sustainability efforts you have done over the years, maybe some might stand out, or if you can tell us a lot about what you have done in that regard over the years.
Okay, I will speak to the one that was done just a few months ago. It was done in partnership with the Development Bank of Nigeria. And this was how it started. Under the platform of the Africa Social Impact Summit, and by the way, the Africa Social Impact Summit seeks to achieve three objectives. Number one, catalyzing multi-level, multi-sectoral partnerships. Number two, ensuring that we have sufficient impact investment into critical sectors, because we believe in blended finance for the issues we have in our critical sectors, from health to education to food security. Those are the kinds of financing and capital we require in Nigeria and on the continent of Africa, and of course, advocacy for the right policies in place. And that platform has unlocked over $100 million. We've had so many partnerships and counting, because it's clear Sterling One Foundation cannot do it alone, but we can be catalysts. So we see ourselves as conveners and catalysts to bring in these ideas and these partnerships to birth. And just 2 months ago, our partner from ECOWAS Small Business Coalition came to us to say they just signed a $2 million deal from the summit last year. And this is to support SMEs across the West African states. Just recently, we had Plan International sign a partnership with Sahara Group in the climate action space across Nigeria. Those partnerships are continuing to birth, and that is our joy. So it is a model that has been proven and tested and is delivering results already. The most recent one was from the deal room from the summit, where we realized that we were seeing a lot of men, but fewer women were in the deal room pitching their businesses for funding. And the Development Bank of Nigeria, that is one of our partners, in partnership with us, started the Women Investment Readiness Accelerator, funded by the DBN and their partner AFD. And we were able to provide investment readiness for over 100 women, and the results were really, really outstanding. One particular incident that stuck with me was that of a lady that had just finished pitching. She just finished pitching to the judges, and I saw her outside bending, and I asked what the problem was, and she said that because she stood in front of a crowd, it basically made her system go upside down. So she was feeling pain in her tummy just because she spoke in front of a crowd. And this crowd was just a crowd of about 50 people. It was the demo day. But she did it, right? She did it. So the point I'm making is, at times you don't even know some kind of problems exist. Maybe for some of us that we've been dancing traditional dance from when we were young, you find that many women need more exposure. It is not just about doing the deck. They need exposures to speak. It's not just about you're a woman, you stay in the kitchen. I think that's another issue around our society and the way we bring up our girls. I think parents we need to raise our girls to be bold. We need to raise our girls to be confident. Anyway, the Women Investment Readiness Accelerator program, it made me see how that platform was able to get these women out of their shells. Fantastic ideas, but learn to pitch. Learn to express yourself. Learn to sell your solution. And not just sell, learn to close the deal. Because if you're not closing the deal, then what's the point of all the activities in the first place? It was really, really transformational. The top 10 women are currently in a 6-month mentoring and coaching program so that they can solidify their skills. And I must really appreciate Development Bank of Nigeria for that initiative. That is one I can really, really remember because I'm a woman, and it's clear to me it's an initiative we desire to scale, to be able to support 100,000 more women whose businesses can actually become really, really global phenomenons. You know, I like to see unicorns from Nigeria and Africa. It's my dream. It is amazing because this Women and Youth Initiative didn't just start today. Prior to this time, we had hosted a gender lens investing training in partnership with UNIDO Investment Technology Promotion Office, where we did capacity building for funders of women projects, women businesses, women-led or women-owned initiatives, to build their capacity to be able to look at these proposals from the lens of gender. And we had several organizations representing from the NSIA to different financial institutions, from microfinance to commercial capital to private equity and to angel investors. Why? Those are initiatives that will help whatever it is you're doing to scale, because we cannot claim to have all the capital, but we can build the capacity of the different categories of capital to be able to better invest in women-owned and women-led businesses.
Do you have any projects or empowerment or whatever you do for the youth in the country?
Oh, and that will take me to a program that we recently launched. It is actually an African Union program, the African Union Women and Youth Financial and Economic Inclusion Initiative, AUYFI. This program seeks to unlock $100 billion to empower 10 million women and youth in Africa by 2030. We launched that program in partnership with the Office of the Vice President, the Nigerian chapter, which is Wi-Fi Nigeria. This program seeks to first ensure that we are able to measure the impact of the private sector in empowering women and youth. So we are more like facilitators and aggregators. At Sterling One Foundation, we're already doing a lot in that area across the different sectors, from creative economy to food security and to education itself. But we, like I said, our outlook is not just what we are doing, but how we all can collectively do it in a way that we can scale significantly and get to that number, 10 million, or even exceed that number. Now that's what we're talking about. So the AU Wi-Fi initiative and the Wi-Fi Nigeria initiative seeks to address challenges of employability, entrepreneurship, skills readiness. We're talking about TVET and different things that we know the youth in the country require, not just in the country but across the continent, but now we're looking at Nigeria, require for them to become earning contributors to society, and definitely not problems society like we have unfortunately noticed in some areas. Interestingly, in partnership with water.org and Sterling Bank, we launched a water credit program to finance the water value chain, the first of its kind for a commercial bank in Nigeria. And this is because we realize that water is life. It is relevant to every SDG goal, and there are gaps, lack of water, potable water, safe water in different parts of the country. The financing of this product is to ensure sustainability, because as an organization, we've actually also provided boreholes and access to water in some communities. And in some cases, we realize that that strategy is not sustainable. And we believe in sustainability, where you are not just looking at impact, social impact, but if you prioritize economic impact, capital will continue going to that area. And so many organizations have already accessed that facility, and it's a 3-year program, and we're looking towards more people accessing that solution. Beyond that, we are also intentional to support the environment, life on land, life on water. Since 2021, we have done this beach adoption program where we clean beaches and streets across the country, and we've had several partners join us. We build the capacity of those coastal communities to be able to identify the right wastes and to ensure that the plastic that they pick go back into the economy, and that's a circular economy. And some of the benefits they get is that it helps them to be employed. So we're solving for employability. It helps them to pay, in some cases, for health insurance. in some cases, just to put food on their table. The amount is not the one that they will use to build a house of custard, but their stipends that is helping them protect the environment and earn at the same time. We will continue doing this, of course, alongside our partners like the bank and so many other private sector organizations that are doing this work. We're looking to scale this some more across the country, and we'll continue prioritizing the environment in our programming.
We have more for you on Kaleidoscope, but that's when we return. Please stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Kaleidoscope on Channels Television. The final part of our conversation continues now with the CEO of Sterling One Foundation, Olakweju Ibekwe. So when you look at the work that has been done so far since inception, how does it make you feel, and what's the experience been like for you?
Thank you very much, Anne. Personally, as much as I know we have done some work, it's clear in my mind there's still so much to be done. In 2022, we birthed we use the word midwifed, a platform, because we realized that there was no convening that intentionally brought together the different players within the development ecosystem, from the private sector to the third sector to the public sector, to see how we can all work together intentionally. There's this thing about Lagos, people being in Lagos and Abuja being the seat of power. We thought that there was a need for us to intentionally break the mountain of distrust, of lack of clarity on how the relationships should work. And we are glad today, Sterling One Foundation, to have been a multi-year partner with the Lagos State government on this platform. Lagos State is the host city partner. We co-host the Lagos State Investment Summit. It's going to be in the third year this year, and it's going to be happening in July on the sidelines as a pre-event to the Africa Social Impact Summit. And while we're at it, the Africa Social Impact Summit was the platform that we birthed in 2022. We co-convened it with the United Nations system in Nigeria, and also in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, because we believe partnership with the government is critical. There has to be alignment on policy, else the conversations at those kinds of convening will remain at those convenings. You cannot look at the possibilities of scaling, especially where the outcomes are actually very beneficial for society. And it's happening in July this year, July 22 to 23, at the Eco Convention Center. We started from 8 partners. Today we have over 60 partners and counting. We believe in a whole of society approach to solving our multidimensional problems. We believe that it is possible. We are stubbornly optimistic in the power of collaboration for us to transform society. We believe we can do it, not alone, but together. It is worthy of note that the Africa Social Impact Summit platform today has grown to have representation from over 60 countries across the globe. You see people flying in from different parts of the African continent and Europe and North America. Why? Because of the quality of the conversations, the impact is likely to have on the work they're doing within and outside the continent of Africa. And it also helps to inform their strategy for the following year.
So when you look at all the work you have done over the years, how do you measure the impact? How do you see results are coming out, or positive results are being seen across board when you look at all the work you've done?
So measurement for us is project specific and initiative specific. And we do this via quantitative and qualitative strategies, tools, techniques. And in some cases, we also get consultants to do some of the work for us. Those are the ways with which we measure impact. I gave you some examples now, and these are, we deploy tools, we deploy surveys, just to know how the impact of what we have done so far has been, and of course to identify areas where we need to do better. Has it all been rosy? No.
Because it was going to bring me to my next question of what I'm sure you have faced challenges in the the course of your work. I mean,
A lot of challenges. When you're talking about bringing partners together, you need to design solutions that ensure shared values, alignment. Where partners are not aligned, they cannot partner, they cannot work together. You know, the Holy Book actually says two cannot work together except they are agreed. And we found situations where some partnerships may work, some partnerships may not work the way they were designed. Why? Because expectations are different. So when you want to birth a partnership, you need to solve for, first and foremost, clarity on goals. What do you want to achieve? What do I want to achieve? Are we agreed on our goals? Then you need to know what are our values. Are our values aligned? Our core values as organizations, do we have alignment on that also? Then we go to our processes, our policies, even something as simple as data protection policies. It's their alignment on some of those elements. And then we now go to implementation. Do you align on how we want to implement? So there are different layers and levels to this. Some are much more simpler than others, like eventing, but some might be much more technical, especially when you're partnering with international development organizations, that they require that you have some kinds of policies in place, and there's a way, even if you don't have those policies, you need to institute those policies before you can work. And I think that this is not just peculiar to our organization. It's something that as an ecosystem, we all need to become better at, because this can become like little foxes that can destroy our desire of achieving the 2030 SDG goals and our national development goals also.
and now that you've mentioned 2030, it means we're looking forward. Now, going forward, where do you see the Sterling One Foundation getting to? Maybe in 5-10 years? I'm sure you have a dream for this foundation.
So I would answer that question differently. It is not about Sterling One Foundation. I think it's more about the transformation of our society. And one area we're prioritizing now is education. With 18 million children out of school in country is really, really not acceptable. There was a statement that stuck with me at the last NESG during a foundational learning focused session that the NESG lead was speaking on, Dr. Tayo. He said it is only in a country of responsible adults that you will have 18 million children out of school. I don't know if that's sinking. I would say it again. It is only in a country of responsible adults that you will have 18 million children out of school. That took me back to our growing years when we say it is a community that raises the child. It is our responsibility. In our society, every child is your child. You are mommy to everybody. So if that is our reality, if that is our culture, let's take it a notch higher. Let us all take responsibility for the education of these children. Beyond the fact that not educating these children becomes a security risk for the country, we cannot all just sit down and hope that it will get better. No, if we do not act, you know the law of physics, right? It will stay in that, except there's an external force. We all need to intentionally force that situation to move. Else, it becomes a problem at the end of the day, not just for the child or for that child's nuclear family or extended family. It becomes a problem for society. And we all need to be secure. Imagine 18 million is actually more than the population of some African countries. I can't claim to fully understand the depth and the scope of that, because just calling 18 million, the way we can easily relate to it is 18 million naira. Okay, yes. Do you understand? It is a problem that needs immediate attention. And it's clear government cannot do it alone. The private sector needs to rise up and take responsibility. And one thing I appreciate about the private sector is that there have been investments of different shapes and forms and kinds through corporate social investment, corporate social responsibility over the years. But we need to see how we can collaborate more and attack it together like an army. These children out of school, you are all getting into school. Let's see if we can drop that number by 5 million, at least, by 2030, together. So we launched the Business Coalition for Education alongside fantastic partners of the Africa Social Impact Summit, just recently with the Office of the Vice President. So we have federal government alignment on that. Let's see how the private sector can take responsibility, come together. Sterling Foundation is a secretariat, but we have an excellent board and excellent private sector partners, technical partners also. Let's deal with this problem. So what I would love is by 2030, if we can see that we have 1,000, just 1,000 children out of school that just became 4 years old. That will be the desire. We really truly appreciate our co-conveners for the Africa Social Impact Summit, the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, and the United Nations system in the country for the partnership over the years to see how we can accelerate action on the Sustainable Development Goals, leveraging the whole of society approach. We will be glad for more private sector organizations to join intentionally, of course, aligning with national development goals and global goals, which is the SDGs. And the platform with which we're catalyzing that is the Africa Social Impact Summit, hosted in Lagos State. Our wonderful partner, Lagos State government, the host city partner, happening in July. And those that are interested can check out the impactsummit.org. We will be glad to welcome and host you with our partners, and we will be glad also to co-create content and co-create solutions with the ecosystem. We believe strongly we can do this when we work together.
And this is where we draw the curtains on today's edition of Kaleidoscope. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget you can watch past editions on the program. Just type Kaleidoscope on the search engine when you go to youtube.com/channelsweb. I'll see you again very soon. I'm Anne Nwawadu. Thank you for watching.